Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I want to make a quick video about the upcoming skateboards of 2021. There's actually quite a bit of really good electric skateboards coming up for the second half of 2021, and I'm quite excited about a couple of them. So I kind of want to just talk about them and their pricing and their specs and which ones I would prioritize purchasing and which ones I would put off for now. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one is the Backfire Hammer. Currently, it's not available on the USA website, but some people are able to take a screenshot of the Chinese website. This will be available early August. And it is a belt drive board. So Backfire is famous for their hub drive AT boards. They actually have never had a belt drive before, not one that I've seen before. And this Backfire Hammer starts at $1,200, which is a reasonable price. They do say that this is called a quote high torque unquote 6370 motors. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the acceleration is going to be like, but that's what they're claiming. A 6370, right about where a $1,000 board's motor the size would be like. And the battery capacity is 518 watt hours. 518 watt hours is about the same as the Wildgo AT2. And the Wildgo AT2 gets me, a 200-pound person, about 15 miles of range on my AT tires. So expect about probably the same if you are, if you are a heavier person. It comes with 6-inch pneumatic tires. Top speed is 29 miles per hour, which is pretty fast, and then 20 miles of range. They probably tested on a really light person. So if you're on the heavier side like me, you expect it to go down to about 15 miles. This board is really different in a sense that it's really going for that all-out accessory look, right? It's not going all out on any of the specs. Most of the specs look pretty normal to me, and then the design of the board look pretty similar to their other AT board designs. So, I mean, it looks okay, but then once you put on the motor guards and then once you put on the spoilers that they have, it just becomes really like a show-off board that's more for the looks than for performance. But I still think the performance is going to be okay. But it does seem like this is the board to get if you think spoilers on the skateboard is cool. If you think all these cool gadgets on the skateboard is cool, rather than its internal materials. So the second board that I want to talk about is the Propel Endeavor Pro. And this board comes out July 2021 as the first wave. On this website, they did say their second wave have already closed. So depending on how fast, if you were to order now, you probably have to wait until later this year to get it because you'll be on the third batch. If you have pre-ordered it on the first or second batch, you probably get it sooner. But the first batch does come out July 2021. And this is the board that I'm super excited about. It looks so different. It's a belt drive board. It's about $1,800, a little bit more expensive than your traditional board, but the specs on this, man, a 6374 motors, two 6374 motors, 1,110 watt hours of battery, nearly doubles the Backfire Hammer, right? And then it's got an 8-inch giant pneumatic wheels. Its top speed is 31 miles per hour, and it's got 44 miles of range with a person that's 165 pounds. So super kudos to the Propel team for actually putting out two ranges. One range for a 165 pound person and another one for a 200 pound person. So that's pretty awesome. What makes this board so unique are the shock absorbers. This board has independent suspension system. So basically, if you go over a rock, only one wheel goes over a rock. Only that one wheel would go up, right? Not your entire truck. So this is super cool, and they're moving it. They took that technology from their bigger model to the smaller one. So you still retain that off-road capability while putting it into a smaller format, a much better looking smaller format. I think it just looks incredible, and it's 40 pounds, which is pretty heavy. So this is not something that you want to take as your last mile transportation. But if this is something that you want to go off-road and on the street with, I can totally see it. Like, this is probably the board that I'm going to get if I do dish out at $2,000. This is the board currently on top of my list to get. And then we have the Exway Pro Max. It sounds like the iPhone Pro Max, but the Exway Pro Max comes out late August. It's priced at $850 or $849. It only has about 230 watt hours, so about a quarter of what the Propel Endeavor Pro has, or half of what the Backfire has. However, this board it looks like the ultimate last mile board to get. Like, even though it has 230 watt hours, it's got 18 miles of range. I do think this is a little inflated. If you're a heavier person like me, 200 pounds, you're probably looking at 13, 12 miles of range, which is still good. But this Exway Pro Max has improved, has a lot of improvements, right? This is the second version of this. It's got improved protective coating, so it definitely looks good. It's got protective coating, anti-scratch, so it keeps your board looking newer. Swappable drivetrain. This is pretty standard stuff. Swappable drivetrain between your hub and your belt motor. It's got the Exway twist trucks. It's got app settings. But I think the best thing about this board is that it only weighs 16 pounds. So it's incredibly light for a board, for a performance board that is only 16 pounds. So you can drag this along, you can take this along with you, and I think one of the best unique selling points for this board is everything is integrated into the board, right? Most skateboards would have the battery compartment below the deck that's attached to the deck, but all the batteries here are inside of the deck, and they redesigned it to fit more batteries inside of it. So if you want this format, if you want this form factor, you want this light and thin form factor, this is probably the best thing to get. So highly recommend it if you're looking for some citywide last mile transportation. You know, you take the subway and you get off, you need to get somewhere that's just a couple miles. You know, this seems like the perfect board to get. However, I do want to say $850 does seem a little bit expensive for a board with such low battery capacity, but what you're paying here is the form factor. They even kind of added the edge. They even changed the edge, making it look a little sharper. I dig this look. I super like it. If I need to do some last mile commute, I would definitely pick this board. The next board I want to talk about is the Evolve Hadean Carbon, which comes out September 2021. It's a belt drive. It is $2,900, almost double of any of the boards that I previously talked about. In fact, you can buy any two out of the three boards I just talked about and still have money left over. Okay, let's talk about the specs first. $2,900, 691 watt hours. Pretty decent watt hours, but I don't know if it justifies $2,900. You have 63, 68 motors, which is probably the smallest motors of all the four boards I've talked about. But the size don't always matter. It's the voltage and battery arrangement that ultimately matters. So I'm going to not judge it for now. It's got 26 miles per hour of top speed and 24.8 miles of range. I think the specs look okay if the board is under $2,000. However, it's close to $3,000. I just by looking at the specs here, I don't think it's worth it. But being a marketing manager at a large retail chain, I do know about supply chains and margins and stuff like that. And I do see that Evolve does offer things that no other Chinese company offers, which is really good customer service. I bought stuff from Evolve before, and the way that customer service communicates within minutes, like I had trouble with an order that I had, they replied back to me in 7 minutes. I can tell you, like, no Chinese company would even reply back to you in 12 hours. So the Evolve's customer service, it's really good. If you get into trouble, you need help, they're always there. And that's why the board is expensive, because you're paying for customer service. And then the warranty is 12 months. It's a 12-month warranty. Not a lot of boards out there have 12-month warranties. Almost all of them have 6-month limited warranty that almost doesn't do anything, right? So this is something that's super good. And then also what you're paying for is Evolve also offers a 7-day cashback, 7-day return policy. I can tell you no other board on this planet have a return policy. As soon as you pay the money, you're never getting it back from the company. You can go through credit card claims and whatever, but no one actually does this. Evolve is the only company that does this. I don't like Evolve. I don't like how much money they're charging, but I see what they're doing on the service side, and I think it somewhat justifies a higher price. And then what you're paying for is the app, a very colorful, cool looking remote, and forged carbon fiber deck that no other board actually has. So Evolve Hadean, this is probably on the bottom of my list. If you're someone who doesn't care about money, if you're a millionaire who just want to get a board, Evolve Hadean Carbon, go ahead, get it. It's freaking awesome. But if you don't have infinite amount of cash like me, then I would put Hadean probably on the bottom of the list. The last board I want to talk about is the Metroboard X22. So apparently Metroboard is being merged with Hoyt Skateboards, and they have and they sent out an email saying like, hey, they have plans 5 months out, and they sent this out in July, so they probably would have something by the end of the year or the beginning of next year. They have this new model called X22, and they say it's a slight redesign of the enclosure to support bigger battery. They're looking at a 12S4P battery, Stormcore 60 DESC, and an improved charge port, improved water resistance, standardizing riptide bushings. So it does seem like that Metroboard is looking to modernize its skateboard. The Metroboard looks so cool, so good, for only $2,500, $300 cheaper than the Evolve Hadean. And but then the tech in there has aged a little bit. So I'm really happy to see Metroboard coming back saying like, hey, we're going to update all the technology in here for 2021. So that's amazing to see. And they also said they're making a longer range of the X model, which is the current model that they have, which is also super awesome because I didn't like the range of the current Metroboard. So this is perfect. And the last thing is they're also looking to build a wooden deck for the Metroboard, which sounds interesting. I've never seen a Metroboard wooden deck before, but they say they're going back to their roots in the beginning. So I'm probably gonna need to do some Googling and see what that board looks like. But for now, my priority list, if I were to buy skateboards right now, is number 1, Propel Endeavor Pro. This board's stats is just off the charts for the price that you pay. And also the design is so unique. No other company offers this type of design. It just makes it a no-brainer. If I were to choose for my next board, Propel Endeavor Pro. That's my first choice. And then my next choice is, if I have the time to wait, I probably would, if I have the time to wait, I would probably go for the Metroboard X22 with a bigger battery redesign, because the Metroboards, these look so good, right? They look excellent, and they're also cheaper than the Hadean. So that's what I would go with. And if I'm trying to cheap out, I would go for the Backfire, but I probably wouldn't get the spoilers and all that add-on, because that's how they make their money now. They didn't upgrade too much for the board, but they added a bunch of trinkets and stuff for you to add on to it, for it to make cool, for you to make your board seem cool, but probably doesn't do anything, and you need to pay a premium for all the trinkets and the spoilers that you need to add on to the board. Next is Exway Pro Max. I would get this board for a quick neighborhood run, or if I need to go somewhere, and if I need to take this skateboard somewhere, if I need to carry it in my hand for an extended period of time, I would get this one. 16 pounds, super light as compared to any of my other boards. And then lastly, for the Hadean, the Hadean Carbon is a great board. It's just super expensive. And it's expensive because you're paying for customer service, you're paying for the warranty, all that stuff is baked in, while the other boards that you're looking at don't charge this much because they don't have this type of service. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Let me know which board you want the most and why, and let me know if I missed any other boards so I can do like a review on them. I'm currently doing a lot of traveling, so it's almost impossible for me to buy a board right now because I don't know when these boards are going to get to my house, and it's highly likely that when it gets to my house I'm not going to be home, and then a $1,000 skateboard would just sit in my front porch for an extended period of time, and that's not acceptable. So unfortunately I can't do any of these 5 boards for later this year, but once I settle down, no longer traveling, I'm going to make up some of these reviews and try to get these reviews in. For now, I'm looking at more reviews for the electric unicycle that I bought. I'm also doing reviews for the LaCroix Lone Star Super Sport. I'm also doing a review on the Cool Wheel, the old Cool Wheel electric skateboard that I have. And I'm also doing another full review for the Exway Flex, a 1-year full review. And I'm looking at other electric skateboards to buy, but I just can't do anything that might get sent to me over a range of couple months because I'm not sure if I'm going to be home or not. So yeah, that's it. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, support the channel. I'm a really small channel and I purchase everything on my own, and the reviews that I give are not sponsored or persuaded by any sponsors in any way, shape, or form. So please support, subscribe, and bye.